Hi and welcome to the latest episode of Pat's Procrastination, brought to you by the Pat's Propaganda YouTube channel. Please do not forget to be subscribing to said YouTube channel. And happy New Year to you, Pat's Nation. I hope I find you well. Welcome back to Pat's Procrastination, episode 14, with myself, Clazzy Clare, and himself, Chudders. Chudders, how's it going?
Happy New Year, Claire. Happy New Year to the listeners, viewers, everyone else. What a roller coaster couple of games we've had. I think we got some interesting points to make here, especially with quite a big week in Patriots Nation ahead, I think, for many different reasons. So let's start off, Claire. Broncos game. We can cover this quickly before we move on to maybe the Bills. What did you think coming out of that game?
I thought it was great because I loved that they won. It was a good game to watch. There was a Gesicki touchdown. It was great. It was a goodish game to watch.
That would be my problem with it. That I'm sure it's not much of a surprise that I was disappointed we won, considering
let's not use the wrong D word, shall we? Disappointed isn't the word that you've been using for this. You weren't disappointed. I think you actually said, and I quote, devastated, which is extreme.
It is extreme and not accurate, but yeah, we can pretend.
It's what you said. It's accurately what you said.
I want receipts for that. The disappointing element or devastating element for me was that it felt meaningless because they didn't play well. It was a fairly rubbish game. Zappy had a good first half, and then for one reason or the other, quite a bad second half, and Wilson got them back into it somehow. And you had a big kick at the end, which is quite a surprise considering the couple of weeks that Ryland's now had. I'm sure we'll get onto later. But it wasn't. If you'd have blown them out, I don't know, 42-10 or something, I might have felt good about the victory. You might have thought, okay, that's something to build. That's something to build on for next season. It might have felt more. It might have felt more. The point being, it would have felt a more meaningful win. You'd have felt positively about quite a few players, I should think, on the offense. If they've managed to score that many points, you'd be more confident in Zappy as a backup. I think we'll all agree that's as good as he is.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like that. It felt like you flopped to a win at the end with a good kick, and it just hurt you, especially with what happened a week later.
Yeah, but didn't you see like the stuff about the locker room and how happy the team were and how just fun it was? I mean, I know you don't really seem to put value in that. I do. That's why I don't call them mean. That's why when we argue about this, it's a good job that we only slice this out and put a little bit of our argument out for people to see, because these arguments are excessive. And when we had this excessive argument, I know that you said it was meaningless, but I don't believe that they're meaningless. That's the thing. I know draft stock and things like that, but for the team itself, for the guys playing the game, for that get up early, go into the facility and train, this is their job, and they were doing it well-ish. They came together. The defense was doing it well. The offense had some little bits of doing it well. Well, I've got defense baby written on my and it was one little positive. You want to take a positive from an offense? It was nice to see Kevin Harris on there being a good running back. So it's nice to for me, if you want to talk draft and all that kind of jazz, seeing Kevin Harris be successful and Ezekiel Elliott, I think more in the Bills game, but yeah, mixing it all up a little bit, but just talking generally. Ezekiel Elliott is really good. I do hope that they sign him. And if they sign him and they have Stevenson back and they've got Harris, all of a sudden we aren't looking at the draft from a running back perspective necessarily. I don't think, personally. We can concentrate on other things because there's plenty of other things to concentrate on. But I know that I'm getting ahead of ourselves because I know that we'll talk about the draft excessively as well. But no, I got defense baby. Zappy had some good throws. He had some good placements. I was disappointed in Thornton because he just gets taken down too quickly. He's just too much of a waif. He's too thin and skinny. He needs feeding up or something, because he's just too skinny. He doesn't seem fast enough to get away from people enough that when they take them down, he's just nothing happens. And Alex Austin, took me a second, apologies. Another kind of bright light in that, but I know we'll talk about him in the Bills game as well, because he carried on his good jobness. Excuse me, as you can tell, I've got a cold, so my brain is not working properly. However, Chudders insisted we do the show regardless of how sick I am, so here we are.
Damn right, your fans and listeners needed some Clazzy in the new year.
It's the most ridiculous thing ever, but okay, if you say so.
It's not as ridiculous as the Patriots beating the Broncos, but yeah.
It's not true, and the Patriots did beat the Broncos, so I did write at the end, Ryland saves the day. Why is he so inconsistent? that was the end of my game notes.
That was the thing, that you came out of thinking, okay, he's just made a mammoth kick there. His confidence got to be up. Hopefully that'll be the turning point that makes him a good, consistent kicker. And he comes out of the Bills game and plays even worse, missing both sides. It was.
So let's talk the Bills game then, because we've already done 10 minutes, which is ridiculous. So let's talk Bills. To be fair, excuse me, I think they held the Bills. They made them honest in a way. I think offensively, they were still really limited, but defensively, I think, I don't know, it was a bit closer than I think a lot of people expected. And the initial drive of the game, or the initial run, I suppose we should say, by Rager, really had my hopes up really high, that it was like, yes, they are going to trash the Bills. I need them to trash the Bills. I hate the Bills. Let's do this.
Are the Bills the number one enemy in the division for you?
Yeah. Bills, Finns, Jets. Actually, Bills, Finns, Jets. Because I don't have the history as a fan that other fans do in regards to the Jet situation. That was like before my time, sort of thing. So I don't have the same. And they tend to be a bit of a joke, don't they? They're Jets. So it's just like, I don't know. It's a bad thing to say just before we play them and they beat us or something.
How awful that would be should we lose.
Oh no, you suck. You know that. You suck, really. Wanting them to lose to the Jets in the last game of the season.
Yep.
You suck.
Go on.
No.
No, go on. Go on.
Stuff. No, it was draft. So let's carry on.
Okay. I know what you're saying about the Bills game, and it felt like you were in it for quite a long time. Never really out of it. The blindness of that, though, I think, is you had that amazing return from kickoff. First play of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That is what made you feel like you're in the game for the next 3 quarters, I should think, at least. Because you're up, and then even when they've got some points on the board, that you still thought, oh, well, you know what, scoreboard, we're only 1 score away. We're only 2 scores away. It was always close because of that first play. If they hadn't got that, if it had been the touchback or a standard 20-yard run out or whatever, and then the Patriots turned the ball over 3 times in the first quarter, or 4 times in the first quarter, you'd be thinking, this is awful. This is the worst start of the season. We're just looking pants. The game would have been mentally, I think they would have switched off. You'd have thought, right, the game's over here. We're not doing anything today. So I think it was that one play, I think, shaped the impression for the rest of the game. And it's not wrong, because you were kind of in the game for quite a long time because of that one play. But I think it was slightly deceptive as to how close the game was because of it. I think that the defense played well again. I think they played well both games. Barmore, again, just looks an absolute beast. I really hope they up him this year, a year early, and make him a focal point of the defense. It's the kind of Wilfork solid player in the middle there up front that can just dominate teams. I'm not pretending he's on the level of Aaron Donald, but it is that central focal. The offense are going to need to game plan for how they're going to manage him. He's looking that destructive. It's brilliant to see. Absolutely love it.
Can't disagree at all.
Excellent.
I've got Elliot needs re-signing as well. I've got that on mine.
I would like that. I'm kind of already resigned that I don't think he will, because I think he's played really well the past few weeks when he's been the number one with Stevenson out. But I feel like that's what he'll want next season. He won't want to re-sign to come back here to then go back to being a number two behind
Do you know
Stevenson.
how old he is?
Comes back. Yeah, I know, but that's why I think he'll look at it and think, I've not got many seasons left.
That's fair actually. He's 20. I think
he'd rather go somewhere else. He'll get paid about the same, but he'll get to be a starter, and it could be also he might, having played well, get an opportunity at a team that's a contender as well. Because however this off-season goes, however successful it may be, the likelihood is the Patriots won't be contending next season, and he may well get other opportunities.
Why won't they be contending with your high round draft pick of a blue chip elite quarterback that you're going to pick up that's going to take them to success? I thought that's what happens, that they're going to pick at number 3 or whatever. They're going to get that elite blue chip quarterback, and that's it. That's all they need to succeed.
Someone's bitter, aren't they? Wow.
No, just someone
got a lump of coal for Christmas.
No, someone's just listened to you go on about quarterbacks for the last, hang on, how long has it been since the second game of the season?
Oh, no. We can go into last season, maybe even the year before, to be honest. I thought the Patriots needed a new quarterback.
To do with coal and everything to do with just excessive having it beaten over their heads.
No, I think they needed a change at many different levels of the team, as we may get to later. But
the Bills game.
Yes, I don't think it'll turn around.
The offense really let them down because the interception made for pass from Pappy made for Park. Interception results in a touchdown. Fumble results in a field goal. It was like the offense gave them points. Interception results in a touchdown again. It's like the Patriots were handing the Bills their points. It seemed like, well, the Patriots offense, should I say. But they had 4 turnovers at halftime and were still only down by 6.
I agree that it looked all right, and that you, as a defense, I think they were keeping the Bills relatively in check. But like you've just pointed out there, they made the most of their turnovers. They got points. I think that's also an area that has been talked about the past year or so, really, of how the Patriots were getting a lot of their points. They weren't really going for sort of 80-yard drives. They were taking advantage of defensive turnovers on short fields to get their points. So you can't really hold it against another team if they're doing what you've possibly been doing as well.
No, but in the situation of if the Patriots hadn't done those things, handed the Bills all those points, they could have won that game. That's the thing. If the offense was not as sloppy, they may have been able to.
You sound like Bill Belichick sat down with Robert Kraft here.
That's fine. I'll take it. Sound like Bill Belichick. Probably one of the nicest things you'll ever say to me. So yeah.
And with that cold, you're not too far off, actually. If you can.
To me, I was sick.
The defense played well. They kept them in the game, like we said. The opening score kept them in the game on the scoreboard. Whilst technically it is accurate, and you can say it for quite a few games, I think it's up to 6 now that they've lost by 1 score. That technically on the scoreboard you can say, hey, the Patriots were in that. They had a chance. You never know.
You wouldn't say that.
Reality is, I think the Bills could have scored on you if they needed to go down the field.
I disagree.
They could. They were stopped quite a few times on 3 and outs. They've just got a better team than you have.
That I don't disagree with.
This is the problem. I mean, you could argue that their coaching isn't as good, which is why the Patriots were in that game and why the Bills haven't gone to the promised land. But it was no, I thought it played well. Zappi, I think, like I said, he's established himself as a serviceable backup. No more. I don't think he's come in lit it up. He's looked like whether it's New England or anyone else. And on that, one question I was going to have for you, which is slightly off game topic, but with the way Zappi has played, I know you're a Mac supporter, but would you be happy to agree that Zappi is looking the better option than Mac at the moment? And then my question would be, would you therefore take advantage of that? And if you're going to get rid of one this off season, would you get rid of Zappi because you're likely at the moment to get more for him than Mac? Or would you get rid of Mac and keep Zappi because he looks like he's the slightly better option of the two?
There's always that like emotional element of if Mac wants to stay and sort of try again being the backup, you know, if that's something that he wants for his career, he says, I appreciate I'm going to be the backup, but I want to continue to learn here because I think that I can improve, then I'd be okay with Mac being the backup. However, if you look at it on face value right now, it would appear that Zappi is your better option as a backup and Mac looks like he could do with being somewhere else.
Good way of being a politician and not really answering the question. So you are Claire the GM. Are you keeping Zappi or Mac?
I told you, I'm asking Mac what he wants to do.
No, I'm asking, right, Mac says, yeah, I'll stay if you want me to. Look at the hamster running around the wheel.
My point being, exactly, you've just made my point for me, how mean you are to me. Looking at it on face value right now, how he's been playing, how it's been to watch him. Yeah, Zappi is the backup, but he's a backup. Zappi's the backup and kind of Mac. See, I think Mac deserves a start, but he needs to be fixed. So maybe he needs a start elsewhere, sort of thing. I don't think he's as bad a quarterback as you do. I think he is the subject of the surroundings. He's got completely broken. And I don't think he's a terrible quarterback. Now, I could be wrong. That's fine. But I do sort of believe he deserves the chance because I think he's got something there. But as a Patriot, it's probably better, particularly if they're looking at drafting a quarterback high in the draft this season, that he's not going to fit really, is he? He probably hasn't got the mentality of a backup because he came into the league 15th overall, sort of thing. So he probably is in the situation where he wants the starting role. So, but I think Zappi would be more mentally prepared for the fact that he is a backup because he was drafted as a backup, really. So yeah, I think if I'm having to make the decision right now and hand out pink slips and stuff or trade, attempt to trade, I'm keeping Zappi as my backup and trading Mac away and looking for, the quarterback of the future, the franchise quarterback, as you like to say.
I agree with you. I would get rid of Mac. I think he for himself needs to go somewhere else.
You would anyway. Even if they didn't have Zappi.
The other element that plays into it is the contract. And are you really going to not franchise? Are you going to sign to his 5th-year option, which is more than what it would cost you to keep Zappi? And like you said, you would need to have that conversation with Mac. What's his plan long term? Is he really happy to be a backup? I suspect not. And I think he will want to try somewhere else. He won't want to just stay here. So when his contract was up, whether you didn't sign him and that was end of next year, or whether you did sign the 5th-year option and it was an extra season, I would think at the end of that period, unless he was a starter, and reality is I think that's highly unlikely, he would likely go elsewhere in free agency because he wouldn't want to stay and be the backup, and so you'd be losing him. Whereas, like you've said, I think you made a good point. Zappi is potentially more open to being a backup because that's possibly his expectations, and he can probably craft a role for himself there unless he starts to perform and someone else gives him a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, Douglas was back. I think he's played well. He's now set nearly all the Pat's rookie records for receiving. He's played very well. Elliott's played brilliantly, I think, both as passing back and on the ground. Harris looks serviceable. I'm not going to go much more than that. He looks serviceable as a, in all honesty, probably a third option.
I gave him a good, third option.
I don't think he's necessarily a second option in the, if we were in this position next year. Say Elliott leaves and they keep Harris. If Stevenson got injured after 6 games, I wouldn't be really confident that Harris is going to come in and do what Elliott's done or what Stevenson does. So
that's fair.
Harris has done fine. I don't think he's lit the world on fire, but he's looked serviceable. And I'm sure you must be pleased. Gesicki led the receivers in receptions against the Bills.
Yeah, but I'm not getting a sandwich. So, but yes, no, yeah. It was unfortunate that Gesicki had to have a shot for Hunter being injured, because obviously I don't like that, because Hunter's my guy as well. But I think that's one of the reasons why I like the Broncos game so much, because of his touchdown and stuff, because that's what I asked for Christmas, sort of thing. But yeah, I agree with what you said. But see, the thing for me is now we're looking at it like it's the end of the season. We're looking at sort of the future. You're looking at the draft. You're looking at who they're re-signing. I'm thinking, as long as they bring back Elliott, I'm cool with Kevin Harris being the third. I want them to bring back Hunter and Gesicki, things like that now. So now there's all that playing on my mind.
We'll get to that. We can do a show for that, Claire. Get all those random
one thing you haven't mentioned, and it's on the defense, because I got defense did their job. They brought energy and they did keep the Bills at bay almost. When I was going through the game book, as you know, I really enjoy doing, I noticed that Keon's White name was quite everywhere. So I think he's quite sneakily showing up and nobody's really noticed it. And he was giving the pressure to Allen. So I don't know if he's working out better than maybe we think he is, because he's like flying under that radar all the time. Perhaps.
I think you hit. Yeah, he's getting more pressures. I think he got something like 3 pressures and 2 quarterback hits or something like that at the weekend. He's not getting sacks. Okay. I think he has got one maybe in the past 3 games, but he's not getting sacks like Judon would, or Stephen Barmore, loads of tackles for loss and everything. He's getting more pressures. He's impacting that pocket more.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
But not
that's the point, though. You need
massively.
But he's one of those pieces that are kind of quiet and you don't notice until they're not there, and then all of a sudden things seem to start to fall apart, and you wonder why, and then you realise it's because you're not giving like credit to that. That was just my point. I mean, I'm not ready to argue about it. It was just something I wanted to bring up, because I don't think he's a name that people are mentioning, and I think maybe it's an under the radar bit, really. But yeah, offensive. So yeah, my Bills notes are offensively they're so limited, and the defense did their job and brought energy. There you go. That's the Bills game summed up for you. That's all you need to know.
No, that's fine. And a couple more positives. Let's finish off with the positives.
Yeah.
Where the defense kept Allen in check and they broke Wilson, because he's now not going to play again for the Denver Broncos with their financial system. on the negative side, I thought the defensive backs haven't looked, certainly the corners, haven't looked that great the past few weeks. It's not helped with your injuries. They brought in Austin, who's a newbie.
Be fair.
Did okay, but they've not been lighting anyone up. The other negative...
He says as his light goes out.
I say as my light goes out. The other negative aspect, some may see it as a positive, I don't know, is Brown, who's clearly done with the Pats now on offense. Tackle, and tackle even more is going to be a big area of need in the off-season.
They needed one anyway, so it's like...
They needed 2 anyway.
Whatever sort of thing.
Yeah, it's... I think he needs gone, not only for his reliability in terms of playing effort, training effort, but potentially also his personality, should we say, around the locker room.
I'd say
attitude.
attitude. I wouldn't say personality, because that's. I'd say his attitude, because he chooses to make the comments that he does. That's not a personality trait. That's an attitudinal situation.
That's fair. That's fine.
I think.
I think that's systematic of the sort of player that you don't want around next season. Whoever, whether it's Bill rebuilding or a new coach, I just think you're gonna have to move on. And I think his time in New England is now can draw a line under that one.
Yeah.
But it does mean you're gonna need 2 tackles next year, more than likely.
Love it. Bring me a good O-line. I love it. That's what I want to see. I want to see a quality O-line. That's enough to get me excited to see that in a game. Quality O-line.
There we go. Any other notes, I guess, on the offensive defense from the first couple of games? Oh, in fact, yes, there was one other note I had on defense, one other positive. Lawrence Guy. Did you see his outfit in Denver? He wore a beautiful Christmas tree jumper.
Oh, no, I didn't see. No.
Oh, yeah, look that one up.
Okay.
After this.
More homework.
Yeah. Well, I need to keep you busy. Special teams. We touched on Ryland's kicking has been incredibly inconsistent. It won you the game against the Broncos. They got a touchdown
lost
each
the
week
game
now.
against the Bills. Yeah, if he'd have kicked better against the Bills, they may not have lost.
The return against the Bills, and then the was it Mims for the Broncos? I can't remember who absolutely something in his pants with the kick return that he fumbled, which he fumbled twice, I think, essentially. Dropped it and then fumbled it again into the end zone for the touchdown. But special teams, touchdown in each week. I think I said my Christmas wish was for a defensive score. We didn't quite get that. That's on my list for next week. But we did get 2 special teams touchdowns, which was good.
Yeah.
But so Ryland, are you in or out on him at the moment?
Oh, I don't know. I was so in on him. Because I'm always so in on kickers and punters. Because they kind of get such a bad rap sometimes. It's one of those, it's like you want to support him, but he's making it so difficult.
Agree. I think you can have kicking competition, whether they...
Yeah.
You're probably not going to draft someone in the 7 rounds, but you could pick up a UDFA.
If Bill's drafting, they will.
I don't think you would, because that would be having to admit defeat very quickly. But I think
he wanted Moody though, didn't he? That was the problem. From what I've heard, now speculation. I haven't had it from Bill himself.
And he wanted Robbie Gould as well, but he doesn't always get what he wants. I think they'll get a veteran in as well, and there'll be a kicking competition in the summer.
It'd be really funny if they got Nick Folk back. I don't know if he's under contract. I don't know off the top of my head. It'd be really funny if he wasn't and he came back.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be against it. He's kicking solidly this year.
How can you be against it? He's a good kicker.
Yeah,
maybe he can come back and sort Ryland out.
That's why you can be against it.
No, maybe he can come back and sort Ryland out before he retires.
So, tight ends in the last 2 games. What are your thoughts, Claire, specifically on your tight ends?
You know what I think? Gesicki.
You're pleased with how he's been playing?
Well, he's not been utilised enough.
Okay.
You're always going to get the same answer of me when it comes to that, and you should know by now. We've done enough of these shows.
How much responsibility are you putting on your tight ends for 2 of those in the
turnovers? Brown fumbled that. That was totally on Brown. It wasn't so much totally on Gesicki. The guy's arm was there and stuff like that. So, I'm not blaming it as much on him. Not for that one. Anyway.
I think I did ask you this a few weeks ago. Of the 3, how many of those 3 do you want to keep next year? All 3?
Yeah.
I'm drafting another one.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. You're hoping that we get... I think that's why you want to be the Jets, because you want to be picking 5th and take Bowers. Okay.
No, I want a quarterback as well, really.
Any more on offense, defense, or special teams that you have, Claire?
No, I'm done.
Okay. So, a couple of game notes going into next week. Do you think this is going to be Bill's last game with the Patriots, or even in NFL?
No, I think well, it's hard to say, isn't it? Nobody knows anything, so it's difficult. It's a difficult one to call.
I know you don't know. If you knew, then wow,
I think
you really are an insider.
I don't know. There's this element of me that just doesn't think he's going to be leaving. So I'm not fully committed to thinking he's coming back, but there's part of me that does.
Do you think he knows right now? Do you think the decision between, and it could literally just be between the 2/3 of them, Robert, Jonathan, and Bill, do you think they know what's happening?
That's tough. Yeah, I think so.
Slater's last game?
I
think he knows. I think he knows.
Yeah, I think it's probably Slater's last game. I think he, I don't know, just I don't know, just a thought, just opinion. Maybe he comes back in a sort of a coaching kind of role, because I think that's something that's a very, a strength of his.
I'd love to see
that sort of way in the team. He's getting on a bit now, he says, to be like on the field, to be training to be on the field. But I think there's too much sort of team passion within him that he wants to teach. I get the impression, now could be completely wrong, that he wants to pass on all that knowledge that he has gained. So I don't know, it's just a feeling that I get that we'll see him on the sidelines, and I really hope it's for the Patriots, but I'm not certain. Probably because his family's here, so to uproot, and he said he's got a young family, so to uproot the whole family to move to try out being a coach somewhere, completely new, unless Bill goes, maybe there's a chance that happens, sort of thing. But the logic would suggest that he's got some kind of minor coaching role in the Patriots organization, I think.
I agree. I think,
or he just hangs it up for a year and like, naff it, I'll go lie on a beach.
I think it might not be coaching as in special teams assistant coach or linebacker.
Not
I think it could be a sort of pastoral role.
Yeah.
And like you say, he just seems a great guy to have in and around the team, around a locker room. Work. He's a real people person. I'd love
give him a weird random made up title.
Well, you could make him GM and keep Bill, couldn't you? That'd be interesting.
Oh, I like it.
Excuse me. One more note on. Well, we've got some questions to get to here.
Well, you want to hurry up then?
In fact, right. Before we do those questions, who was your tight end of the week, Claire?
Gesicki.
Got to be Gesicki, isn't it? Okay. So my underrated player of the day, this week sponsored by FlightTracker.com, because if, like Claire, you don't want to suffer a loss under any circumstances at the hands of some Jets, then this is the website for you. Tavai, I thought he had another. I think this is his third 10 tackle or more game of the year. He's really come on this season. Very impressed with his game. He is one of the players who's balling out. He's surprised and impressed me this year. I think that
free agent, is he?
To be honest, the whole linebacker room has surprised me this year positively. I think Mapu, who's the past few weeks has come out, played well. Bentley's looked solid. Even Wilson, there's a bit of edge pressure, has played quite well the past couple of weeks. It's I'm pleased with my linebacker room.
Cool. Very good.
Questions.
You're not going to do those in the off season, are you? You're banned from those. Your final one is after the Jets game.
I'm making no promises.
You should.
Well, we can do some awards at some point.
Jets game.
One other note on Bill sticking around or not, and then we'll get to the question for it. If he stays around, now this shouldn't be the deciding factor, but for both Robert and Bill, I think it's something they would be very conscious of. If Bill stays around, the Patriots will be on Hard Knocks. Because
guaranteed?
I would think almost certainly guaranteed.
Oh, okay.
Not guaranteed because they've already announced it, but because The Patriots will fulfill the criteria of
Oh, right. Okay.
not in the playoffs for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They've not had a new coach. If you get a new coach, you can't be on it.
Oh, okay.
If Bill's staying around, there's also the chance whether you like it or not, that they may have a new quarterback as well. I can't see the NFL passing up the opportunity to get into the Patriots, into Foxborough, Patriots training field, putting cameras in Bill's office. That they're just not going to pass it up. I think, like I said, it's not going to be a deciding factor as to why you'd keep Bill or not, but I think it would be something that both be conscious of. Now, there's part of Bill's ego that might enjoy that, but I think mostly he probably
I doubt it. Yeah. No, I can't see that.
But that's just an interesting footnote. So I did set you the homework a couple of weeks ago, Claire. Sandwich bet on where you think Bill will be coaching next season. So this is your opportunity to win some food, Claire. Should excite you. Not as much as a good O-line, but yeah. Where do you think Bill's going to be coaching?
I'm not fully in on it. I'm not 100% on anything, but I think at the moment I'm going with coaching New England.
Okay.
He may be in a different role. He may not be. He may not be Mr. GM coach, but
you think he could be assistant special teams coach?
Yeah, of course. Don't be such a I think at the moment it's coach in New England. I'm probably wrong, but I can't fully commit to anything. I can't feel 100%
you think he'll stick around,
anything.
but you think he could give up his GM role?
Maybe. See, like I'm not committed on anything right now.
I think it's not an impossibility. And I think probably percentage-wise, it's the safest bet for you to play there, to be fair.
It's just a case of you asking me right now on the spot. I have to give you an answer.
Yes, you do.
It's New England. There you go.
You do have to give it now because we might know the answer by this time next week. So we can't really wait a week. So to counter it, because I'll put a bet out there, I'll go with the Cowboys.
The Cowboys?
Cowboys.
Wow.
Unless, if they win the Super Bowl, it probably wouldn't happen.
Wow.
I think if the Cowboys go out this in the playoffs without even getting to the Super Bowl, possibly if they get the Super Bowl, they keep McCarthy around. But if they don't even get the Super Bowl, I think there's a chance, if Bill was available, that Jerry Jones could say, hey, I will give you all the money you want. I want another ring. There's a good offense there. There's a good quarterback there. I think Prescott's been playing really well. I wouldn't necessarily have said that at the start of the season, but I think he's played very well this season. They've got a solid defense. They've got arguably one of, if not the best defensive player in the league at the moment, which Bill would love.
That's fair.
So I think that, plus the fact it would really piss off Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft and Jerry Jones don't get on. If you left the Patriots to go to what off the field might be Robert Kraft's arch nemesis, I think Bill would enjoy that. Ooh. Yeah.
I don't, but that's not unsurprising. So, but we're running out of time.
If I'm putting a bet in, I'm going to go for Cowboys. Okay, so wins bet I've won. Army Navy I won. I've now won. Patriots finishing 4th in the division, even if they beat the Jets, can't finish above them. All you need is 4 Gesicki touchdowns for him to tie with Henry, and I'll let you have that sandwich. Or now, when we originally made this at the start of the season, I gave you the opportunity that you could choose which receiving stat you thought Gesicki would lead the team in. So if he got 20 receptions and no one else caught any balls, then he could technically have that title. Or if he got
I did touchdowns. It's
or if
fine.
he gets 310 yards.
No, I did touchdowns. It's fine. Come on, let's move it along
now. Right, Claire Tracker. Win every game. We've only got one left, or lose to get a high draft pick. So we got an 8.97652, 4.5, 4. We were going into the Broncos game.
So is this how much I want to win?
Why do you ask this question every
Because
single
I
week?
always forget, because the way you word it always seems different. So I'm always think I'm committing to something different. Do I want the Patriots to win?
Yes, coming out of the Broncos game, how much were you
No.
fully invested in this team beating the Bills to win every game?
To beat the Bills. How much,
Yeah.
before the Bills game, how much did I want them to beat the Bills?
How much you invested in the team
question?
to beat the Bills instead of going
10.
for the draft pick?
10.
So we went 4 to 10.
Well,
And
no,
so
because
after the
I
Bills
don't think
game,
I understand the
what?
question most of the time.
Yeah,
I'm
I
at 10.
agree.
I want them to.
Somehow it's so 10. So now after the Bills game, going into the Jets game,
I'm a 10. I want them to win. Do I think they can win? I don't know. Well, yeah, I want them to win. I want them to win. I enjoy the win. I want them to win and just trade up and get the higher draft pick. Simple as that.
so
There
you do
go.
want the
Win
higher
and
draft.
trade up.
So you do want the higher draft pick this year. You just don't care about future years. And so you would rather beat the Jets in a relative. Let me finish. You should rather beat the Jets in a relatively meaningless game and then not have a draft pick in the first round for maybe the next year or two. Than just lose to the Jets and have the same situation.
That's major speculation, because you don't know that they'd give up that particular one. You're putting too many specifics on something that you can't even.
Okay, let's say so. The way
There's
it's
so
playing
many.
out
That's the
now.
problem with it.
The way
I
it's
would
playing
like them
out
to
now.
beat the Jets because I'd like them to end the season on a win. I don't believe it's meaningless personally. I know you do, but yes, when you look at the draft, I'd like them to move up and get a good quarterback, like everybody else does. However,
if they win,
we have
if they win, they're likely to be 5th.
Okay.
Okay, so to get a quarterback, you're at least going to need to trade up into the 3rd spot.
Okay.
Possibly higher, depending on which quarterback you want.
But there's a million different combinations that you can throw. You're just picking the one that you think.
You give me a 1st and you can have it. If you're in the 2nd spot.
Okay. If you say so. Okay.
Yeah. I sent you through the value chart so you can see what these picks are worth.
Okay.
Plus there's history of what the Panthers did and what the 49ers did to trade up to get their quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So you think I'm plucking it out of nowhere and I'm going on history.
Okay.
So you would rather beat the Jets and give up next year's 1st round pick than lose to the Jets.
That's not what I said. It's what you said.
You said you would happily trade up to get the quarterback. I'm telling you what it will cost you to do that.
But you don't. You're telling me something that you don't know.
Okay.
Because you don't know that's what will happen. Because nobody knows what's going to happen at the draft. That's why it's such a crapshoot.
But you're telling me you want to trade up. And I'm telling you what it'll cost to trade up.
Okay. You're telling me one price tag. You're not telling me all the price tags.
Okay, instead of giving up a 1st,
I really don't think people want to sit and listen to this conversation, to be honest with you. We should have cut this off the end of the show.
Would you give up Gonzo to move up to get the quarterback?
No, why?
Because that's what it takes. You have to give up your elite players or your top picks to move up in the draft. As much as you might rate Gesicki, you can't trade him and a bag of balls to move up to 2nd in the draft.
Okay.
So, on going into this last game, I was going to have a little tiny game with you to see what you think is going to happen in a few of the other games that are happening around the league that in one particular way could help you get into the 2nd spot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that, who do you think will win, Pittsburgh or Baltimore?
See, I know the Steelers need to win, but it depends on what team the Ravens put out there. If the Steelers win, it's better for us, the Patriots. But that really depends on what team Baltimore put out there. Because if it's all backups, then the Steelers could win, but we don't know until they set up, do we? Sort of thing.
So right now, I know you don't know the answer because the game hasn't happened yet and they haven't declared their players. Who do you think is more likely to win that game? Pittsburgh or Baltimore?
You tell me what team they're putting out then.
They're playing the starters because Baltimore are trying to ensure they get the number one.
Well, then
seed.
It's Baltimore then, isn't it?
Boom. That helps the Patriots. Should that happen?
I thought if the Steelers won, it helped the Patriots.
Nope.
Oh. Oh, that was to do with the Bills. Sorry,
this is looking at strength of schedule.
My bad.
So,
my bad.
Houston at the Colts. Texans at the Colts.
Ooh.
There's only 5 of these, so.
Oh, go. What's their records at the minute?
Oh my word, I don't have that to hand, I'll be honest.
Well, see, you want me to give you an answer to the lack of information, and people have tuned out by now. This is silly.
Colts are 9-7.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans are 9-7. They're both 9-7, so they're both balling out. Both are in the wild card hunt.
Okay, I think Houston maybe.
I think it's possibly whoever wins that gets a spot.
I think Houston might edge that out. I think. My good.
Okay, that's fine. That helps you.
Oh, cool.
If Houston wins that game.
Mm-hmm.
Falcons, New Orleans. Again, are you going to ask for records?
Because the Saints haven't been doing very well.
New Orleans are 8-8. Falcons are 7-9.
I think the Saints, maybe. Oh, I don't know that one.
That
one's tricky.
More heavily, that would go against the Patriots.
Oh, right.
In the strength.
I don't want that to happen. I'm just you're asking me on the spot what I think.
I'm just saying. What is how the Patriots, for example, could lose, and if these 5 games go their way, they could move up ahead of Washington, assuming Washington lose to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Bears against Green Bay.
Ooh.
Bears are 7-9. Packers are 8-8.
Yeah, I think the Packers would edge that out again as well.
That goes against you.
Does it?
No. Broncos against Las Vegas. That's a Raiders.
Vegas.
That goes against you as well.
Oh.
So,
for the record, disclaimer, that's not what I want. You just asked me what I thought.
I know, and I don't think you're too
before
wrong.
I get shade from
fans. There. I think you're too wrong with what you predicted there. But my point is, if those 5, and they were all debatable, probably Baltimore, Pittsburgh is the one that I'd say I'm more confident than the others that the Ravens will win that. But should those 5 games go your way, you can lose and get into that number 2 spot through strength of schedule. So there's still ways the Patriots can move up. The likelihood is the Commanders will lose, and probably not all those games are going to go your way, and you'll still be in. If you lose, you'll be in the 3rd spot. If you tied, you'd probably be in the 4th spot, and if you win, you're probably going to be in the 5th spot. Is a very high level approach to take into this weekend, really. Yeah, I'm hoping for as high draft pick as possible. So, home versus the Jets, 1:00 kickoff, 6:00 UK time. They're just coming off an away loss to the Browns, 20-37. Claire, what's your prediction? What do you want to see?
Patriots win is my prediction.
By how much?
Do score.
What's your score? No, we do this every week as well, and I get it out.
Touchdown.
Touchdown win. Okay. I agree. So my prediction was 2013. I've written down. So by touchdown, it's not what I want, but I can't see the Patriots losing at home in what is probably going to be Bill's last game, Slater's last game.
Yeah.
It possibly could be Andrew's last game. I hope not. But again, he's a player who's getting on. If he wanted to hang him up, he easily could. Doesn't want to undergo massive change if he knows or thinks Bill's leaving or Bill does leave. I can see that the Patriots is going to win it, I'm afraid. What I would love to see is a Slater touchdown on special teams somehow.
Yeah.
And a defense touchdown. I think again they deserve it after the season they've had.
Yeah.
We could, if we lost and got those two, that would be pretty much the perfect day for me. I'd be very happy with that.
Very good.
So yeah, that's my prediction for the game.
Cool.
I think next time we meet, before you wrap up, I think next time we meet, we'll obviously know our draft position.
Mm-hmm.
We may or may not, probably not, know the head coaching situation for the Patriots. Could be a big talking point. And then we can start looking ahead at who's going to be around next year, who's not player-wise, who we'd like to see. Start looking at free agency and who's available, who you'd like to see wearing Patriots blue next season. And then look ahead to the draft after that, I think.
Yeah. So, spoiler alert, folks. We aren't going away in the off season. We have had a discussion and we're going to come back to you during the off season. So we're going to bring you the game recap wrap-ups. We're going to finish with the Jets game and then we will be back during the off season. And I hope you will join us too. But until next time, for him and for myself, this has been Pat's Procrastination, brought to you by the Pat's Propaganda YouTube channel. So tune in next time, folks. And as always, go Pats.
LFG.